this is Kott from High Tone Son of a Bitch, and this is Sick Riffs. So I'm going to talk about one of the riffs from Silhouette, a song off our new album, Lifecycle. This song uses a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs, which are stylistic techniques that I use a lot to really bring out a lot of emotion from a riff. The tuning that we use is C standard in this song, so that means that I'm dropping the tuning down, but I'm dropping it down on every string, not just on the top string. So the difference between down tuning and drop tuning is that if you're dropping, then you're just dropping one string, but if you're down tuning, you're actually tuning everything down. So we're down tuned to C standard. So as a result, rather than talking about note positions, I'm going to talk about fret positions. So we're starting from pentatonic scale patterns, and then we're using the inflections of hammer-ons and pull-offs to create kind of an emotional feel, something that's more of a vibe. And we're starting at the 12th fret here in this pentatonic position, all right? So the pentatonic scale position for this is going to be from the 12th fret to the 15th on the top string, and then we're going to go 12th to 14th, and then going up from string to string, 12th to 14th, 12th to 14th, 12th to 15th, and 12th to 15th. So the pentatonic scale position is... Okay? So starting from that position, I'm hitting an open note, and then I'm hitting the second string, and I'm hitting the 14th fret. Okay? And then I'm pulling off to the 12th fret. Okay, then I'm going back to the open again, and then I'm striking the 12th fret and hammering to the 14th. So it sounds like this. Okay. All right, so I'm sort of alternating between an open string, top string, and the hammers and pulls on these subsequent strings. When I go to the second position, the pentatonic scale pattern is going to be Kiss, the one that we're currently playing now, but it's going to go from the 10th, okay, to the, so 10th to 12th, 10th to 12th, and then we're going to go 9th to 12th, you know. So I'm also throwing in the blue note here on this one. So that would be, you're going 10th to 12th on the top string, and then you're going 10, 11, 12 on the second string, and then you're going 9 to 12, 9 to 12. So using that pattern when I'm dropping it down, so my first riff section again is... Okay, and then I'm going from the 10th to the 12th, like this. So 10, 12, 11, and then I'm doing 12 on the top string and 12 on the third string. All right, so that's... So you'll kind of have to watch a little bit what my fingers are doing. I'm doing a lot of hammers and pulls, and I'm limiting the number of actual string strikes that I'm doing. When I'm hitting the 12th on the top string, I'm not striking that at all. I'm purely hammering that. And I'm doing that for a lot of it. So if you listen, it's... So I'm really only doing a limited number of total strikes. So when you listen to how that riff all comes together, it's... You also notice that I'm doing a lot of like sliding into notes, and I'm doing a lot of kind of vibrato and stuff like that, just moving my finger a little bit with each string. Again, that gives it a lot of feel and emotional intensity. So that's sort of a blues riff, really, and any blues riff, any good blues riff needs a turnaround, right? So with this riff, you know, we've got the main riff, and then the So the turnaround is... So I'm using that same pattern that I was showing you before, the blues pattern, but I'm varying out of it. I'm breaking out of the box and I'm hitting here just to give it a little bit of a more minor feel, right? So when it all comes together, the riff sounds like this. And that's it. All right, and so now I can talk a little bit about some of the equipment that I use. As far as guitars go, my favorite guitar in the world is this 70s Guild S300D. I love Guild guitars. They're an American-made guitar company. Fender currently owns them. When they were making these guitars in the 70s and the S100, which I also really love, they were making them in different configurations. This particular model, the S300D, is the D because it has DiMarzio pickups in it. It's mahogany, neck-through body design. It's super cool. Sounds really awesome. So these are the Super Distortions. They still make them today. Back in the day, they were a really high-gain, high-output pickup. By today's standards, they're sort of like a mid-gain, humbucking distortion kind of sound, but as far as I'm concerned, they're just like the bee's knees. This is like the pickup, especially this era when they were made. Guild currently make a reissue of the S100, the S100 Polara, and it's a super cool guitar. It's a great reimagining of the original, and I endorse that guitar. It's a super awesome guitar as well. Another really cool guitar that I like a lot is Reverend. Reverend make the Volcano, which is like a kind of a Flying V kind of model guitar. And then this is the Sensei. This thing is just beautiful. It looks great. Both of these guitars have different pickup configurations. Reverend make their own pickups. They design their own pickups. And one of the coolest things that they've done is design something called the Railhammer, which is what the pickups that are in this guitar are, and the pickups that I also have in my Volcano. So I have the Volcano RA. This one's called the Sensei, and it's just a really pretty guitar. It sounds really great. You know, they make really cool guitars. I also play some other guitars. I mean, I have a Les Paul that I play. Most of the stuff that I play is are humbucking, dual humbucking guitars. I've also got the Strat over there on the wall. I'll play that from time to time, you know. And then as far as acoustic guitars go, there's the Ibanez over here. I play that from time to time. You'll hear that on the record, the new record and stuff like that. So when it comes to amplification, I mean, you can see there's a bunch of different amps behind me and here on the floor. Use the Supra on that record. The most recent record's really great. I love Vox AC30s. You know, there are all sorts of amps. The Fender Twin is, you can't go wrong for clean tones. But my kind of workhorse amp these days is the orange Rocker Verb. I'm really happy with this amp. It gives me what I want. It's pretty stripped down. It's a really simple amplifier, and I like it for that. It does one thing, does it really well, does the job I want it to do. I've played through all kinds of stuff. I've played through Marshalls, I've played through Mesa amplification, all sorts of different configurations, Ampeg. All of them have benefits and drawbacks. These days I just like a really simple amp that does what I want it to do. Now Russ really loves this. My brother loved this, the GH100, which is a Laney. This is kind of the Tony Iommi thing with Laney. So this is a really cool amplifier. It also has a really definitive tone, so it has a lot that's cool about it. As far as what's going on the pedal board right now, if you kind of come around over here to this side, you can see kind of what's going on here from my perspective. And what we've got going on here in terms of the delay that I'm using this Canyon delay that's made by Electro Harmonics. It's super cool. It's got a tap feature on it. And then the other stuff that I've got this really cool fuzz, Shinjuku Drive, phaser. I'm using a lot of the onboard amp effects. Got an EQ, tuner, and compressor, stuff like that. So that's sort of what I'm rolling with in my active pedal board configuration these days. So that's what I've got. I really appreciate you tuning in and checking it out while we're here under quarantine, and I hope everybody stays safe during this outbreak. Take it easy.